Hello everyone. Can I ask everyone to please settle down? People at the back, please settle down. Please shut your electronic devices as we are going to begin the annual general meeting. Firstly, can I ask everyone attending this meeting to sign off the attendance sheet before they leave? And can I ask the general meeting to approve the agenda by a general aye? Thank you. There is a guest speaker with us, Mark Garrett, whom I would like to invite and speak about some issues that are going on at the moment. Mark.
Everyone hear me at the back? It's okay. Everyone received an email. You all should have received an email from the Vice Chancellor which gives you full detail of the strike. But I'm just going to cover. Four of the universities have chosen to strike. Why have they chosen to strike? Because they're in dispute over changes to the pension. Now, I'm not a pensions actuary, and I'm not going to go into detail of why. You can look at that online yourselves. But that's the reason for the dispute. It's a national dispute. It's not a dispute between members of staff at this university and the management team. So just be clear on that, okay? It's a national dispute. This university has chosen to strike, chosen in favour of strike, and the staff in question may or may not strike between, over a 10-day period, between the 6th of March and the 20th of March. So the worst case scenario I will give you is one of your supervisors could be on strike for 10 days. That's the worst case scenario. Okay? The likelihood of that, I don't know, and we won't know until the strike days, because the law of the land is that the people that want to strike do not have to tell us they're striking until after they've done it. Okay? So that's the worst case scenario. So that's the timings, that's the reasons for the strike. It's probably best to say, if you've got any questions you want to ask me, I will answer them as honestly as I possibly can.
Firstly, thank you, Mark, for doing this. It was not necessary for Mark to come down, but I appreciate your coming here and giving update to all the students. Are there any questions? I allow 3 questions to Mark from the meeting. I can see 3 hands. Yes?
So what happens if you have like supervisors, like I'm in my final year, so if my dissertation supervisor is off for 10 days, what happens then?
So I have assurances, we have assurances, the executive board from every dean, that there will be someone that will be in place to be able to cover for those questions that you may have. That may not be ideal, but the example I gave is the worst case scenario. I mean, if you think about it, okay, I'm talking now as just one of you, right? Who's going to actually strike for 2 weeks and give up two weeks' pay? It's unlikely that it's going to be everyone that's decided to vote to strike. So the likelihood of that happening is probably rare. Okay? But if it is the case, and I saw the lady next to you shaking her head, I'm sure that you've got a supervisor, you've got a relationship with that supervisor. It's going to be a bit of a challenge. You need to have access to that supervisor for 10 days. But we have assurances from the deans that we will put in place measures to ensure that we can give you the right support you need in that particular situation. Okay?
Thank you. Next question was.
Some media outlets are suggesting the strikes could enter the summer period during exam times, dissertations. Is this something that you've been made aware of?
Say that again, sorry.
Certain media outlets are suggesting there's going to be strikes during summer exam periods. Is this something you've heard about? What's the university's plan?
Good question. So the strike is only for the period I've talked about. In addition to the strike is what they call action short of a strike. Action short of a strike is where, in my day, I mean, I'm clearly much older than all of you. In my day, they used to call it work to rule. Yeah? So people that were doing action short of a strike, they is they wouldn't do anything outside of their core activity. But it's not a strike in the sense.
But it's said on the, I mean, from all sort of areas, you know, right, left, whatever, that suggests that there could be further strikes during April and May time.
Well,
are you aware of this?
Well, if to go on strike, you have to vote, and the union has to go to its members to do that. So if they're going to do that, they have to reballot their members. Yeah? Every union has a right to ask its members whether it wants to strike about anything. So the potential for that, yes, there could be. But as we stand now, the answer is that's not what's on the table.
Thank you.
Question?
There was one more question from somewhere in the center. Yes.
I know you're working on probability that if it happens, and I'm sure that maybe it might not happen, but are you as a university prepared for the worst? Because it could go either way.
Yes, we are, absolutely. I mean, my job is to recruit students, that's what I do for a living, okay? So we have on the 7th of March a huge number of applicant experience days, taster days, interviews with potential other students, and we're putting in place measures to deal with that. So that's an example. So we are putting in place measures, and we will meet every day throughout the strike to assess it every day, because as I said to you, someone could strike on day 1, but they don't have to tell us they're striking day 2, 3, 4, 5. So every day we have to be on top of it and understand how big a challenge it is. So the answer is yes.
Thank you, Mark. You can have to say thank you. Thank you for your time here. Well, a speaker from the University and Colleges Union was also invited at 3 in the afternoon, but unfortunately he has been unable to attend this meeting, but a presentation will be arranged for everyone in this matter. Next, we have the guest speaker. Scott Bissett was formally invited here, but he has been in some unavoidable circumstances so that he couldn't come. He has sent his colleague Noel here so that you can give the safety update to the students here. Can you please have the floor?
Evening, apologies. I'll be fine, thank you. There is a presentation on the safety update. Unfortunately, as you can probably guess, I've got nothing prepared because I was told about this an hour ago. Interesting to hear about strikes because it's something that I can't do. But anyway, safety, student safety. I've worked at Bradford for the last 18 years and student safety has changed a lot over that period of time. Last 5 years ago, 10 years ago, our main concern would have been basically around drinking and socialising. Everybody's concerned that have a bit too much to drink, people get into fights, get into trouble, and they become victims of crime. That's shifted an awful lot, and it's particularly poignant at the moment because, unfortunately, we have seen quite a large spike in violent street robberies up in the university. As an update for that, at the moment, last 4 weeks or so, in Bradford City Centre, we would expect to see, at the most, 1-2 street robberies a week. We were down to something like 2 a month.
Thank you. I would like to ask Maria to come forward and host the question and answer sessions.
Okay, that's fine. So I just wanted to thank Noel for coming down on a short notice as well. Can I just before we take questions, can we just have a show of hands of who has been harassed on Great Horton Road or around the campus area, or who knows someone who has been harassed around Great Horton Road area? And now I just want to ask, does everyone feel safe around the campus area? No. So, Noel, you said that it's about, people feeling safe in Bradford. It's about the reputation.
Absolutely.
But our student community is not feeling safe at all around Bradford. And we want the police to do more about it. You said that you're going to have more police patrolling the city centre, but how many police are going to be patrolling up and around the campus area? Is there going to be any police patrols?
First thing, I am aware of the harassment issue, particularly Great Horton Road. I'm taking it as some people getting harassed by people in cars. Show of hands if it's involved cars, things being shouted at you as you're walking past. Thank you. Yeah, I am aware of that one. One of the things that we've done in the past with that is we have had our roads policing team come down and patrol up and down the road side of it to try and deal with those motorists. As far as patrols go within the campus, this is one of the things that I wanted to put out and ask a question for. In response to the recent spate of robberies, I have had members of my team in plain clothes patrolling late at night. Because primarily I would like to catch the people doing it, but as we've said, it's about people feeling safe. As members of the student union, what would you prefer? Because it's we're police by consent. I'm going to like to ask your opinion. Would you rather, because I've only got a limited number of officers, I can try and split the uniformed non-uniformed patrols. I could do it 50-50. I could get people to come up and patrol in uniform constantly, or I could stay and try and put out plainclothes officers who will confront the groups, will be stop searching the groups, will try and detain people and prevent the offences occurring. Is there anybody that wants to express an opinion on that?
In regards to feeling safe, if you were to put police officers with, that looked the same as us, we wouldn't have that feeling of safety. Whereas if you saw, because I feel like in Bradford there's so little police presence. Well, when I walk around at night, I don't see a police officer anyway, but I feel like if I saw one, it would make me feel safer. Whereas if obviously you'd have officers around, but if they were dressed like me, I wouldn't personally feel safe. So I think that if we had a few more police officers actually around, especially those areas that people are being affected, then I think it would make me feel more confident.
Yeah, which is exactly one of the reasons why I came up. I just wanted some reaction from people as to what they were thinking. There are, at any one time, about between, depending on the time of day, between 5 and 12 PCSOs in and around the city centre. The police and community support officers, they are always uniformed. Do you see them about up at the university? Is that a general no, not at all?
Just put your hands up if you do see them around. Okay.
What does make me feel a lot better is I'm getting shouts from this bottom corner that people know Keza. Keza is one of actually his ward, his area is the university, and I'm glad that people do know him. That's brilliant.
The bike guy.
The guy on the bike. Does everybody know the guy on the bike? Right, there you go. Right. As things change, it won't be just Keza, there will be at least another 4 officers that will be working up this end around the university. So if we're talking about doubling, trebling Kayser's presence. Well, does that make everybody feel better? On top of the police and community support officers, the teams, there'll be 3 neighbourhood policing teams. Each of those teams have 5 police and community support officers. They'll also have 3 police constables who aren't going to be responding to messages, that aren't going to be chasing round after 999 calls. They are dedicated to problem solving, working within the community. So I'll tell you now, my absolute commitment is to get people out in uniform, wandering about, trying to make people feel safer. In relation to the harassment, there were lots and lots of hands went up. I'm interested to know what sort of times of days we're talking. Are we talking, just stick your hand up as I go through each one. Are we talking prior to lunchtime? Is it a morning? Is it primarily? Because I'm going to I can't stick people up constantly. I have to try and target it a little bit better. Is it in the afternoons at around college kicking out time?
Raise your hands, guys.
It's all the time.
Can I ask you a question? Have you reported anything to the police? Right, okay, do you want me to speak to you afterwards? I don't. I can honestly say that I don't. What I'll do is I'll speak to you afterwards, because there's obviously something very specific that needs dealing with. All right. Well, what I'll do is there anything else anybody wants to specifically ask me at the moment? Because you've got an entire AGM to do, and I know that time's getting on. Anybody?
This year, I've had 4 cars that passed by that very, I don't know what it was for some people, but obviously, worst case scenario, I don't think it's us. And I have reported it, but I've never got anything back. And I'm not the only person that has had something thrown at them, especially for being black. I'm not the only person. They'll shout, but they'll yell like racial. So I get attacked too. It's either for being a woman or for being black. And this has increased over the last 1 year. I've been here for 3 years. This is my 3rd year. This has increased over the last 1.5 years.
Right. Clearly we need some better communication between ourselves and you as students. I do have, now and again, reports come through about harassment and things being shouted and said. I know it's a general problem, but specifically, racist and sexist comments are absolutely not acceptable, and they need to be dealt with, which is why when we change everything round, probably through the student union, we'll probably be better having some sort of regular meetings and reporting strategies. I know that the student union have got some reporting outlets, haven't they?
Our student central is the Bradford Hate Crime sorry, not Bradford, but it's a hate crime reporting centre.
Yeah.
But Noel, like you said, you'd have more police around the campus, but would that be on a permanent basis? That's what students want.
It'll be part of the normal patrol as of from March because of these changes. What I can't do, I can't promise you that you're going to have an army of uniforms wandering around, because they don't exist. There isn't an army that I can put up here 24/7. We can be more focused about what we're sending up. The changes mean that I have got more resources than I would have had, than I have today. But we can't have an absolute constant half a dozen officers wandering around. It can't happen.
But, our student community wants to feel really assured, that the police are doing something about it, because this has been an issue for several years. So it's been on the student agenda for ages, so many years. So we want police to do something, we want to be taken seriously. And
yeah, absolutely. You are taken. Don't anybody think that anything you report isn't taken seriously, because it is, and it always is.
Yeah, and we thank you for the work you've done.
So as far as numbers and feeling safe, things will get better, but I can't promise an absolute sudden change round and turn round in the number of officers you're going to see, because they aren't there. You'll see a lot more, but you won't see absolutely everything. Okay.
Just another point as well, because you said there's a lot of cameras around Bradford, there's a lot of cameras around, just the area and everything. We believe that the cameras are not deterring the perpetrators. So what is the police going to do exactly to deter those perpetrators?
Patrols themselves help.
I know we're going back to
and
patrols, but yeah.
Primary function for me with CCTV is it assists in detection, with finding out who's committing offences and then being able to prosecute them. The more we prosecute, the more that those cameras become a deterrent, because people are aware that that's how they're going to get caught. Okay?
Okay, does anyone have any more questions?
Yes, I've been here for 2 years now, and although I've never suffered any harassment, one other major crime I've noticed is really very dangerous driving on Great Horton Road. There's a lot of people that speed, on the road. There's a lot of it's just really dangerous, and I just want to know what you're doing to try and tackle that.
There is a consultation going on at the moment, particularly around Great Horton Road. We've already got the speed bumps in. We are looking at, with the council, what other preventative measures we can put in there as well. Obviously there's enforcement in that we can go up there and we can stand with a speed gun and we can look at prosecuting people for speeding and antisocial driving and driving without due care and dangerous driving. The roads policing team that do come up, on occasion when they can, do actually prosecute quite a lot of people up there. It's just being able to get up here and do it as often as we'd like to. But in conjunction with that, the preventative measures that are being looked at by the council at the moment, they're talking about additional cameras, they're talking about additional ANPR, they are talking about the preventative flashing speed signs to make people aware of what's going on. But that's all in the process at the moment, so I couldn't tell you what's coming. It's being looked at, is what I can tell you now.
We're just going to wrap up now, so thank you so much, Noel, for coming. How long are you here for, sorry?
As long as you need it.
All right, okay. So if any students have any questions, you're more than welcome to approach Noel and ask him anything you'd like. Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Noel. Thank you, Noel, for coming down and doing this for all the students. Right. We come back to Mark, who would like to give an update on campus improvement and safety.
Excuse me. Not just students, by the way. I had some idiot try and speed up and run me over just before Christmas. Clearly, I gesticulated to him, and he stopped the car and tried to assault me.
Sorry, we are live, so
sorry. And tried to attempt to assault me outside Mile of Hawes. So I empathise 100% with this. It's got to be sorted out, and I know my colleagues who deal with these matters at the university are working very close with the police force. So the things that we've put in place, one of which is the Chief Superintendent, we've sent him a very strongly worded letter saying it needs to be sorted. I have to say I think Noel was brilliant today, and I've got confidence in that man. Yeah. So hopefully we can get it sorted. So what's the university doing? Well, obviously we're going to. There's an awareness campaign that we're putting in place to ensure that everyone's quite clear how to approach safety and security. One of the final points here is we have a training program for personal security for staff, which we want to extend to students. So you're able to go to those sessions to understand a bit more about your personal security. But materially, what we're doing differently, the university has invested in more security staff very, very recently, and they're going to be carrying out more patrols on campus. They're not uniformed officers, I get that, and I understand the point made about uniformed officers, but they are trained security people, and we will have more out and about on campus. We've also investing in new digital CCTV cameras, which are replacing some of the old ones, so we've got better evidence should we find ourselves in these situations. I think they're the main things really I just want to mention. I think Noel gives me confidence, and I think we should encourage you as a students' union to engage with him to ensure he delivers what you need on campus. Okay.
Right, thank you for the update that you just gave to everyone. Right, the screen in front of you, everyone, is what Steve Bissett. Right, this is on the screen is what update that Steve Bissett gave on the website for university for all of you to have a look. Thank you, Mark, for coming down again. Now we move to the next set, which is presentation of the Uvu accounts given by David.
I think you're like you. I don't want it on the web. So what do I press? Nothing. Just talk. Do I put page 18? I say page 18. Right. Yeah, about page 18, 19, let's have a look. Okay. 15, 16, 17, 18. Yep. Okay, 80,000, yeah. Okay, I'm sure you believe this is the most exciting part of the meeting, the one that I look forward to every year, to present the Students' Union's annual accounts. I must admit this, when I first started many years ago, was never a very happy story. The union was struggling financially, we were struggling to break even, making deficit after deficit. However, thanks to a lot of hard work from previous sabbatical teams, the current sabbatical teams, the staff, the finance team, we have again, in the year ended July 2017, made a surplus of nearly £80,000. So that means that our total reserves are £240,000. Now that doesn't mean that that's there to spend. It's because we are a charity, because we're a registered charity, it's incumbent on us from the Charities Commission to keep a level of funds actually about that level, between 200 and 250 depending on the size of us, in case something happens out of the ordinary, in case the university reduces its grant to us, in case we have unusual expenses that we're not expecting. So that's a level that has been achieved over about the last 4 or 5 years to get up to that level of £240,000. So people do deserve a lot of credit for that. We do a budget, we stick to the budget, we have managed to make surpluses on top of the budget. I think this particular financial year it's not going to be anything like that, but we are expecting a small surplus again this year. So, and another thing as well, this is the first time I've come to an annual general meeting in February and presented accounts that have already been filed at the Charities Commission. In every other year, we've probably filed them about 2 days before the deadline. We've never filed them late, but we've always just about scraped through. These were actually filed in December, so many months before they ought to have been. So that again was down to the hard work of the staff. So I don't know if people have got questions now, that's fine, but if people want to speak to me, you know, when I'm back in the office and have questions about it, that's absolutely fine as well. I mean, these accounts are available on the Charities Commission website as well, so they're available to the whole world if people want to look at them. So, I mean, we're very proud of the fact that we've got a surplus.
Any questions?
weeks ago, I went to the reception to get a personal safety alarm, but they had run out. I was just wondering if there were any more left.
Okay, yeah, I believe I'm speaking to one of our facilities assistants now.
Small finance
No, it's okay. Well, I'm responsible for reception as well. You know, I'm a man of many talents, so don't worry. And my colleague here, again a man of many talents, a facilities assistant who's also the tech crew, nods and seriously tells me that we have those alarms at reception. So if you'd like to call at reception in the morning, I'm sure they'll be able to get one. Okay.
Thank you. Any other questions?
Okay, thank you very much.
Right, David, before you leave the floor, I would like to ask the AGM to thank David and give him a huge round of applause because this is his last AGM before he retires. On the behalf of the AGM,
thank you very much. Thank you all very much.
Thank you. We would like to thank you for your constant efforts to make the union better every day. Thank you. Thank you so much.
It's much appreciated. Thank you.
Can the sabbatical team come in the front and give the State of the Union annual address, please?
State of the Union sounds like something Donald Trump delivers.
Yes, galaxy, the Big Bang. It's like the sun's in the middle and the planets are around it. So the system.
Press allow first one. Press space bar. Space bar.
Yeah, pretty much.
Okay, so this year what we've done is we've done an extensive work in governance. We've done an entire review of the state of the executive team. We took that to the entire student body, really wide consultation, right from the bottom levels all the way to the top levels, asking everyone, trustee boards, former sabbatical officers, future sabbatical officers at the time as well, and working around what we were going to do with the executive team. And we came up with a new structure which delivers upon the needs that the students requested during that consultation period. We've also passed new council and area bylaws and also introduced general meeting bylaws which hope to inform students of the way those different areas work, easily understandable, easily accessible, and make it easier for students to get involved and make it and be empowered to make change within the Students' Union. Again, like David said, union finances, again we're projected for a surplus this year. Surplus will be smaller than previous years, but again that's because of the changes to the sabbatical contracts compared to previous years. Also, we're currently now developing new policies around HR and health and safety, looking at safety issues around, for example, if we have a trip and we're taking young people on that trip as well, like what are the procedures around that sort of stuff, and we've just started that. That's a new area that we've set up this year. It's part of the trustee board, a HR group. Also alongside that as well, if we've not got that on here, we've also started working on a strategy group as well to look at our current mission statement, our values, our ethos, where do we see ourselves in 10 years? Hamza's part of that, and a lot of the other sabbatical officers are part of that and feeding into that as well. And that's a new body of work that started as well this year. And we're hoping by the return of students in September that body of work will allow you guys to understand where we're going as a union, because there is sometimes a sense of, okay, where do we see ourselves in 10 years, and nobody really has a good answer for that. Okay, and also supported a lot of events this year. Two of the ones that I kind of took a bit of a lead on was the Quali event, which was received really well by students, and students keep asking again what we're doing. And Hamza can tell you more about the different style of events now that we as a union have realised work a lot better now. And Hamza will pick that up later on. Also a challenging extremism event as well, which was around the ideas of actually tackling those issues and not just talking about Islamophobia as a general topic, but talking about the issues that people actually face here at Bradford. So for example, the institutionalized racism or institutionalized Islamophobia and prejudices against people. For example, if somebody applies for a job and you see a Muslim name on there, how people are disenfranchised because they don't receive that job. That's my area kind of.
Got one here. So my areas, the women's and the campaigns. So the main campaign this year has been the anti-harassment campaign, trying to get statistics and working closely with the local organisations and the police and the university, and so have the subs as well. So we've got a few successes. I'm going to shout out the successes first. So we've got 3 women's only rounders. So this was an initiative to break barriers for women to enter sport or physical activities. We've got gender neutral toilets, and we're continuously working on that right now. We also I've been working closely with Amma, who's the Faculty of Management and Law officer. We did a survey and we've successfully lobbied the Dean to renovate the atrium and the weir area. So we're looking further at that, and you're open to contribute to that as well, and also let us know what that space would look like as well. So watch out for the survey as well that Amar's going to do. I voiced out against the affiliation fee and how we work with NUS as a union at the NUS 100 advisor group. So I'm part of one of the advisor groups in NUS, and that was a way for me to voice out the grudges or any improvements that we want to make, and how we work as a union to NUS. I've organised a Liberation Week, which is next week. Please do check out this link. Sign up to any training sessions. There's quite a bit going on. Did Islamophobia conference last year. Currently organising the Women's History Month. Did the anti-harassment march on Great Houghton Road last year. So there's quite a lot going on at the moment, and there's loads for you guys to get involved in. So yeah, that's it for now.
I'll cut mine as short and brief as possible, but media areas review. So media areas are going through a whole new review, as did the society bylaws at the start of this year. Now we realised we had to go into more consultation with the media students to design that area, that it works in their favour instead of what they usually do at the moment, which is kind of providing a service for all of the other students. So we're working along with the media areas to ensure that moving forward into next year, they'll have a better structure to work off, something that they've had input into working with, and that hopefully in turn, moving forward throughout the years, will encourage more and more people to get involved with the media areas. So watch out for that, and if you want any input on what kind of, or any changes that you want doing to the media area, I think this week and next week are the best opportunities for you to get your input in. So you can either email myself and Andy, or you can come in and speak on the meeting, or just give us your points before the meeting on Wednesday, and I can make sure you get your input into that. I'm actually drafting up something tomorrow, in fact, of my own. So everyone is going through consultation, so everyone designs their own kind of media area, and then we come together and discuss everything. I'm designing my own tomorrow, so if you guys want to get involved in that, just drop me a line, drop me a message, and I'll include something. I've got the idea of, the studio next to Ramer, turning that into like a music studio, because we have loads of students who play music, bums play music, they do fantastic stuff, but why can't we just give the facility to actually record it and actually get that experience in recording music and putting it out on mainstream and doing things like that. We've got plenty of talented students in the University of Bradford that are not actually realising their talent because of this. So that's one of the things. Party on the amp free, ? Blah, blah, blah. Basically, last year, Party on the Amp in the evening was £15 to enter. That £15 would have covered the cost of the whole event. Not many of you showed up. In fact, I think there was about not even 10 people there. I was one of the 10 people who was there, so I know. So basically, so during the day, you all have fun. That's what it's really about. Party on the Amp is about you guys coming together at the end of the year, everyone forgetting their differences, forgetting everything, realising shit. We're not going to probably see half of you people. I swore, didn't I? My bad. You're probably not going to see these people again, or you're probably in your final year and stuff like that. It's a real good place for you guys to have fun, come together. And we've decided this year, we've come to an agreement that we're going to try and make it free. If not free, very minimal costs. And we do realise it's in the middle of Ramadan as well, so a large majority of our students might not be able to attend because they'll be fasting on that day. We're going to try and put something on for them that's more catered around Ramadan, maybe an iftari or something, some sort of an event we can put on for you guys that will that will be more catered to you guys during that time. We've got entertainment scope has widened. That's nice to move on to that because it's something I was talking about. 60% of our students are home-based, local students. A majority of them are Muslim-based students, and I feel like there's a crowd there that's not been really looked after in the past by our entertainment budget that we're meant to spread across all areas. And I feel like we've moved away from that one mass group of students going out and partying together, and now we've got localized groups from different sections, and I can see all those sections sat in this room. I can see quite a few of the main sections sat in this room, and I'd like to, in the future, leave a blueprint that promotes those cultures coming together and basically having fun. So entertainment scope has widened, and this is something that I've not put a certain rule in or something like that. I've just had the conversations with the people and told them, look, this is what's working and this is what isn't working, and this is how we should moving forward. So societies, big good news on that. They keep growing and growing and growing. Now we're on, at the start of the year, we're on 70 societies. Now we're on 92 official. That's after we've added on and taken societies off for not actually participating properly. And then we have 92 societies and 2,502 actual people who have paid to join a society. So that's really fantastic. It just keeps growing every year, and we want to keep it growing. And a final shout out is Activities Ball. I've been going on and on. Activities Ball, get your ticket. We're doing it at Cedar Court this year. These guys are moving to Bradford Football Club, so we thought we'd step in and take Cedar Court whilst we got the opportunity. And it's nice, it's a new, bigger venue, and you guys should get involved, celebrate your successes. Definitely if you've been part of a society, but even if you haven't, we'd like to open it to you guys. Obviously, media areas are involved with that as well. If you're not a part of a media area, but you've been to events where media have put things on, feel free to come down as well. It's for the whole uni, but it's mainly to celebrate the successes of societies and media. And that's it. Any questions? Let me know at the end.
Sound very loud. So I've been working a lot with the university around like a lot of the changes, like academic wise. So we have a new paperless assignment, so you shouldn't actually have to print off your coursework and submit it. The idea is now for you just to be able to put it all online through Turnitin. So I've been working with the university through that, and then the new VLE. So Blackboard is now changing, so as of September 2018, you should all be having access to Canvas instead. So some demos will be going out soon to try and get students involved on that. And also, more recently, we've been having a lot of conversations around lecture capture and trying to also implement that for September as well. So fingers crossed, I'll keep you updated on that. Also sitting on a lot of like university panels, so as you guys will know, we're put a bid in to get a new med school, so sitting on that, like approval panels and stuff. And I've been working on my own project, so I've got the Fair Assessment Charter. A lot of like you guys might have been inputting into that anyway. But we've got stuff like the Fair Assessment Charter, the BME Attainment Gap Project, which launches in March, and anyone can get involved in that. So please do come along. You should have all got an email from the union, and another email should be going out soon to your university emails. Also, the library's going under review as well, so we're trying to move towards more like social study spaces and just try and make sure that all students basically get the most out of like university, like their life and their like university like student experience. So we're looking into the library review, working a lot with the student and the faculty reps. They've been absolutely amazing this year, had a lot of great input. So one of the areas that specifically that some of the faculty reps have been working on is the PGR and PGR student experience. So at the moment we're looking at trying to do a 3-minute thesis competition. So it's like a national competition. We're starting off at Bradford, and it's kind of an opportunity for students to be able to practice their theses and stuff, and looking at like a dedicated area for PGR students, so that's postgraduate research students in the library, and like the printing credits and all that around there. So we've been working with specific groups of students to just try and enhance their student experience. Like I just said, a lot of the student reps and the faculty reps have been absolutely brilliant. So we're looking at now towards the end of the year to do like their ball and like a recognition. So we're going to have the Student Leadership Awards as usual. We're also introducing an academic ball. So that's kind of to celebrate both student and staff collaborations in enhancing the student and academic experience. So that's something new this year that we're introducing. And a couple other things are personal academic tutoring. I know we've got really varied practice. So some people have really, really good personal academic tutors, and some people have really poor ones, and they might never actually even see their personal academic tutors. So we're looking at making that a bit more structured, and also putting the ownership to the students as well. So you guys get to direct how your personal academic tutoring goes, and we're using PebblePad like, as a launch pad for that. So more to come on that. And then PALS, as of yet, PALS is only, so that's peer-assisted learning, and that's only in certain departments. But what we're trying to do now is trying to make it interdisciplinary, so all students can benefit from like peer-assisted learning and stuff. So yeah, there's just a couple of things from my remit.
Yeah, so we're working on Active Campus, which is like our social sport programme. So if you don't have a sports membership but you still want to play, but you don't want to commit to like paying for the sports membership or doing weekly training sessions and games, you can go for Active Campus, and that's when Mari was talking about the women's only rounders. That's going to be a part of that as well after Easter. But we're working on like rebranding it so it's a bit more of a full package, like the marketing, the timetable, making sure we've got like a solid base to build on so it's sustainable and things like that. And then just really planning for lots of big events, like we've got Varsity coming up. That's where we play University of Huddersfield in all our sports. So we've been working really closely with clubs really to find out what they want. So we took like the opening sport to a vote, and we got there in the end, but men's basketball got that. So they're the opening sport, and that's starting on the 18th of March. We've got some clubs in varsity for the first time this year, like ice hockey, for example. And again, we discussed the closing sport again with all the clubs. So that's staying the same with rugby union, closing that. But tickets are on sale now, so even if you're not in a sports club, you should come down. It's a really good event. It's in Bradford this year, so hopefully we can win and bring the trophy back. So we've got Big Kit Night, which is our fundraiser for Colours Ball. So it's just a night where all the teams get together. We're doing a bingo night this year, so we're getting like prizes in, and that's all to raise money for Colours Ball, so our students can have kind of a better experience, get some extras in. The Hardship Fund, this is something that we've managed to get some money for next year. So this is a fund where if students can't afford to buy a sports membership, they can apply to this fund and like receive funding for a sports membership. So we've managed to sell some old rowing equipment, I believe, and some sub-acra equipment, and all that money has gone into this hardship fund. So we'll be working on doing like an application form and things for next year. This month we've been doing like a men's health awareness month, so we've been doing bits on mental health. So we've created a playlist where our sports club members have like put song suggestions in that maybe make them feel better when they're not feeling great, when they're feeling down, or songs that they listen to when they're feeling down. So that's online now. It's on Spotify actually, and we've been doing this Oddballs Crossbar Challenge. So Men's Rugby Union started that off, and then they've nominated another club. They've nominated another club, and it's getting around to all the clubs now. That's just to raise awareness for prostate and testicular cancer. And then a Sports Development Fund is ongoing, so that's where clubs can apply for like extra funding for things. So it might be to enter another competition, or to get new piece of equipment, or to go on refereeing courses, things like that for student development. So that's ongoing as well.
Right, last but not least, I'll keep it short and sweet. So Green Week, I've seen that it's in the AOB. We're going to go in depth, myself and Bianca and Lucy. So that's next week, and the whole aim of Green Week is just to promote sustainability, environmental friendly activities, raising awareness about climate change and all that stuff. But we'll go into depth when the time comes later on in the agenda. The Alcohol Impact Conference, I attended today at Leeds. That's why I came in late. And this conference is the first time that such conference has been held. And the University of Bradford Students' Union has achieved accreditation, one of very few students' unions across the UK. They've achieved an accreditation, and what this shows is that the Students' Union is very active in promoting alcohol-free events, promoting safe drinking and responsible drinking within peers. So I suppose that's a very good achievement that we've got as a Students' Union. And we will be audited in 2 years' time. So we've got this accreditation, and in 2 years' time they'll go through it again to see if we still maintain the alcohol-free events and responsible drinking and all that stuff. The other one is Unipol Housing Fair. So I liaised with Unipol to organise a housing fair on Tuesday in the Student Central. And what this is just like accommodation hunting, like it's been done in the past, where you have different accommodations like Arkwright, Catskill, coming down, speaking to students, letting them know about accommodations offers that they've got going on, liaising with students, and some students got involved with it. And at this time of the year, students tend to start house hunting, or some students just leave it till last minute. So that's just another fair for students to get involved in. And the other one is Mental Health Thursday, I believe. Oh, yeah. So that's the University Mental Health Day, and it's very, very similar to the Mental Health Day on 1st of October. But what this focuses on is just mental health awareness within universities and mental health issues that students face specifically at universities. So the events that I'll have going on, like massages, yoga, pamper sessions, Wire Life will be holding hydration stations, so they'll be giving out free cookies and free hot drinks to students. So come down in the Student Central 1st of March on Thursday, and yeah, you can get a lot of freebies, stress buster freebies. Rag Week and Volunteering Fair. So Volunteering Week was 3 weeks ago, and I liaised closely with the volunteering department. So people like Ross, our new volunteering coordinator, Alex, and Adam, and some of the volunteering opportunities that we had was like the nursery visit. So that was actually the first time I visited the university nursery, which is, considering I've been here nearly 4 years, I should have been there by now. But it was really nice to see some of the other volunteering opportunities out there for students other than just what's on the website. And we also had volunteering fairs, so we had different organisations in Bradford coming down and speaking to students directly to talk about any volunteering opportunities they may have for students. And Drag Week was last week, and we liaised with sports and societies, basketball's men's team held a tournament against the staff team, and surprisingly we won. The staff won. And they also had a rag gaming session, video games with FIFA and basketball tournaments and things like that. So that's been going on, and with the accounts, we've not really done that. That will be all done at the end of the year. Like David said earlier, usually we just wait till the end of the year and get it all together, which we'll do in the next GM. And the Diversity Festival, so I've been liaising closely with the university, specifically the Equality and Diversity team, to host the Diversity Festival, which happens every year. So this year is going to be during election week, actually, week beginning 12th of March. So some of the events we've got going on, like challenging stereotypes in women, women in leadership roles, wheelchair push from here to the School of Management, and then we've got comedy night. So there'll be comedians coming down. I think our star comedian is someone from Britain's Got Talent. One of the finalists from Britain's Got Talent. I don't know his name. I think his name's Jack or something. I should know this because I'm part of the planning team. And we've got other events. I can't remember the top of my head. But I'll send an email around with more depth about the events that we've got going on for Diversity Festival. And the last one is that Mary and I are working together on Stand Up to Abusive Power Week, which is week beginning 5th of March. And this is looking at around raising awareness around consent and domestic violence, campaigning around domestic violence and forced marriages. But all of the details, the specific details, we will send out as soon as possible. And yeah. Oh, one more event next Tuesday. Sorry. It's called Life After Graduation event. So this event is looking at kind of giving students a reality check of what life after graduation will actually be. Like, it's not end all, you know, if you don't get a job straight after graduation. So we'll be inviting guest speakers to come down, speak to students about their experience in Bradford and what it's been like since they graduated. Aleem, if you want, you can come in. You're more than welcome to join. Next Tuesday, 5 p.m, SE051. So it's just about like speaking to students and telling them about the reality of what life is like for new graduates. And also promoting opportunities that other organisations may have. So please come down next Tuesday at 5 p.m. in SC051, and you can have a chat with Bradford graduates, and you can speak to them about how it's been like in the real world since they graduated. So hopefully I'll see some faces down for that one. But yeah, that's it for me.
I just need to add one more thing. Is this working? Yeah. Basically, I've secured funding for a Palestine society. Now we're looking for people to run that society. So if you're interested, get in touch with me. We're going to hold Palestine Week just after Easter. So if you want to get involved in that, yeah, contact me.
Thank you, Sabs, for this update. Before we go off for the 10 minutes mandatory break, the floor is open for a couple of questions, so I can see 2 hands.
For an AGM. Like, I'm not getting onto you for too much, sorry, but I went down on Monday last week, and that was the first day that I knew that was Rag Week. And I've been here 3 years now. And for me to not know Rag's going on is like a kind of weird thing, I'd say. So I'm just asking, do you guys feel like you know there's an issue in terms of marketing, or like is there a problem, or is there something you guys are trying to do to sort out the student engagement?
Yeah. So, beautiful question. Do you know, in regards to those groups that are set up again, in regards to strategy and HR from the trustee board, the strategy group, one of its biggest points that we picked up in that, and we don't need to pick it up in that meeting, you can feel it straight away, is that engagement at this university is really down. And it's not just within the union, it's at the university. Even the university understand this as well. Even in a recent Senate meeting, I raised this. I said that students don't feel a buzz here at that atmosphere. The communications are not getting out there. If you're putting an email out there, students don't want to read it. They don't want to read emails. You need to start using Snapchat more. We need to start using all these other social media platforms. And we need to be moving with all that. And again, the strategy board is looking at all that as well. And we're developing those new methodologies that we can use to promote and communicate with the student body. And again, that's something that I'm strongly behind, and it's something that we definitely need to change here. And again, working with Andy, Andy understands as well that that's something we need to change, and it's something we're picking up now. We're looking at, we're investigating, and hopefully it's going to change. We're definitely aware of the issue.
Thank you, Faiz. Can we save all the questions after the break, please? Right. Is it a question or a comment?
Okay. So it's a trustee board meeting. So it's a part of the trustee board. So yeah. Obviously, like from there you discuss, and then you go out, you consult to the students, then it comes back to the student council. That's where the ultimate decision is made. But obviously, that wider consultation does need to occur, and it will occur. We're at the beginnings of that. That board's only set up a couple of months ago. So obviously, we're just looking at the issues at the moment. We're identifying those, and then they'll go out to the student body. We'll be getting feedback. All the normal processes will be occurring with that.
Thank you. The council is off for a 10-minute break, and we will be back at 7:28.
No, you chair it. You have to chair it because I'm already elected to go there as a delegate. So I can't.
Hello, can I ask everyone to please settle down? Welcome back, everyone. Hello. People at the back, please settle down so that we can start the general meeting again. Sabs, can all of you be on the front again so that we can resume the question and answer session? Do you have the mic? Huh? There you go. Right, resuming. You had a question. Asha? You are on Facebook Live, so you have to use the mic.
This is to Mariam. No, I'm joking. I know you've done an amazing job on the gender neutral toilets that are in the downstairs, but then are there any plans of more toilets? Because going all the way downstairs is really a lot.
Yeah, so this has been a question that has been raised up even by Olivia. It's something to go through consultation at the moment, but we're just finding the right time to actually consult this. So there will be plans. It's even on the other campus as well that we're looking at as well, and any other buildings that are going to be built. So yeah, there would be.
Any other questions?
This question is for the entire SAB team. I just want to know what are your proudest and biggest achievements that you've made this year that you feel you've done.
You can have a look at the PowerPoint afterwards. I know you just come in, so you might have not seen our PowerPoint, but we put all that in the PowerPoint. If there's anything you guys want to mention in particular.
I think, apologies about that, that's quite loud. I think one of my proudest moments as a sabbatical officer is, those students that you meet around campus, and although you might have all you might have done is signposted that student to the advice center or something like that, and just ensure and seeing that student's issues get resolved, and to see the happiness on their face after that, without doubt, is one of the best feelings you can ever have in this job. So anyone who's going for this job, make sure any student that comes to you, make sure you try your best to help them. And and another time that makes you the happiest person alive is when you're walking around and it's graduations. And it's not because you see smiley students, it's because you see the smiley parents. That is, and those smiley friends and those family members all smiling. I was on a high for the rest of that month of whenever those graduations were. It's the best moment to see all those happy people around you. And it's like a spiritual boost to continue this job, because this job is difficult sometimes. But without doubt, for me, those are my highlights in that aspect.
Kind of like what you said, to echo it, but a bit different, just to see people's journey. I think sometimes you meet people who are really shy and closed off, and then through the Students' Union and through student representation, societies, media, sports, then you see them develop and you see their journey, and I think that's really nice actually. But one of the things I've specifically done, I think that was the kind of question, is I think with the PGR community, because I think they're really they're hard community to engage sometimes, and I think unions up and down the country always struggle with engaging them. But and I can't say that I could go into a meeting and be able to speak for PGR students if I didn't actually engage them, because I'm not a PGR student myself and I've never been through that PGR experience. So actually seeing their engagement, I think that's one of biggest successes probably.
For me, it's not more so of like a proud moment. It's more so like when you feel like you know, when you're down or you've got so much things going on, and then those students come up to you and say, thank you, you know, you've done this, you made a difference, and you put a smile on that student's face, and you know, because, you know, it's not always that you can see the change, you can't always see it, but when you get those students coming up to you saying that, you know, this has happened, that has happened, and this is how you changed my life, I think that's one of the most touching moments in this job. So yeah.
My favourite bit of the 2 years, probably the bit that I really, really loved was sticking it on people's toes in terms of senior management and staff meetings. I just really loved getting into them and just trying to take as many bites out of them as I could, really. And that was all for you guys as the students, so I made myself look like an idiot on multiple occasions, just trying to back you guys up, and there was other occasions where we achieved things, which was fantastic as well. And the journey aspect, I've been here, this is my 5th year here, so most of you, I've seen you coming in, and I've seen most of your friends who might have left last year go as well. A lot of my friends have gone. I think one of the key things is the friendships that we build up here, and the contacts that we really build up here, the opportunities that we get, and moving forward with them. I think they're beautiful, and once they went for me, once my friends graduated, I lost my whole social circle completely. But because Bradford, students of Bradford are so kind here and so warm-hearted compared to a lot of the other universities, I've always felt like I had a place anywhere I really went. So yeah, thank you for that.
I think mine will be on the 21st of March when we win varsity. Fingers crossed. No, but like when students come in and ask, you know, for like more information about a club, and then a couple of weeks later on, you see them in the team picture on Facebook. That's really cool to know that you've like helped someone get into sport and stuff. And the This Girl Can campaign was really good as well, engaging a lot of women in sport and stuff like that. So, yeah.
Mine is in 2 parts. As a community and welfare officer, and as an individual for Tuma. So as an individual, hands down, giving a graduation speech on my graduation, like seeing my parents in the crowd and afterwards just have, like, my mum doesn't cry in front of me, so the fact that she was teary and crying in front of me just speaks a lot. So that was the proudest moment for me as an individual, but as community and welfare officer, for me, chewing gum. It's providing a platform where students can talk about any welfare issues. So providing the welfare forum, the copper in the chat that we have, and I'm liaising with AU as well this time, but just focusing on men's mental health for this month, providing that platform where students can come in and know that it's a safe space where they can talk about any issues they may have without feeling like they're being judged, where they can just talk about any inquiries, and also just speaking to freshers as well and just finding out what their experience is like. Like, I've been here for nearly 4 years now, so what I might see in Bradford might be different from someone that has just come in. So speaking to freshers and finding out about what their experience is like, what are their thoughts on Bradford, and seeing how to act upon it has just been really amazing. And just like seeing people go through the journey of coming in as a worried student and then a couple of weeks later just happy and cheery and back to being their normal self. So yeah, that's it for me.
Right, one last question.
Yeah, just for Maria, you were talking about the Palestine Society that you've got some funding for. Yeah, I was just wondering if you could say a bit more. Is that funding just for that society, or is it something that other societies can get, or why is that particular society getting that funding?
I believe that money, Mario, correct me if I'm wrong, it comes from a previous Palestine Solidarity Society. No.
It comes from an
So this is coming from an organisation which is specifically looking at Palestinians and raising funds for them as well. So hence why there's that big link with the Palestine Society. So the funding can only go through society. It can't come through us as sabbaticals because that's how the finance works. So that's why that's going to be allocated to the Palestine Society. I myself started at the Palestine Society last year, so it's just something to move forward and make sure the society is continuing. So last year there was funding issues, but luckily I've managed to secure this funding, so it's a bonus really. And it's not just that I'm focusing on Palestine, I'm trying to look at other avenues of funding as well. So right now I'm looking at Bradford Council and how to secure funding there as well. So there's a big pot of money that I'm looking at to secure at the moment. So
if there's any part of funding that you're aware of that could benefit your society, you're more than welcome to come speak to us. We can put a case in for it. This is an organisation who came from outside who said we want to ensure there's a Palestine Society in Bradford, and we're giving you £1,000 to do it. So we need the students to actually take that up and say, yeah, we want to set up a Palestine Society like we used to have back in the days, but it kind of died out after the engaged people left the uni. Cool.
Yeah, I want to ask something. Hamza.
Yeah.
I'm from the Greek society, and we used to throw some parties. And Hamza as well, he used to throw some party. And I want to ask something like, if that is legal, because he throw the party by himself and he get the money, well, the money can go to university. And also, maybe that's legal, who knows, but...
Are you talking about, the only thing I can think about is Swavey. Are you talking about Swavey?
Exactly, yes.
Right, Swavey, I don't take any money out of Swavey. I don't put any money into Swavey. So it's not mine.
Okay.
But
where
I
does
assist.
this money go then?
There's 2 individuals who are involved with it. If you come down, speak to me at the end, I can tell you who those 2 individuals are.
Sorry, can you
Yeah?
bring the question in one line, please?
It's really lots of questions because I have been talking the past 2 months trying to talk to people about it, and just no one responds. So
yeah, it's because right. Okay, I don't know who you've been talking to. You're obviously not talking to me. It's the first time you're saying it. But the thing is, if it's not mine. If you want me to put you through to the individuals, I can put you through to that. It's not even a union event. It's not affiliated to the
yours. Why are you advertising? Why you send invitations to people?
That's nothing to do with the union, and it's...
No, it does have to do with union. What are you talking about?
How does it have anything to do with the union? Explain to me how it has anything to do with the union.
If you want to do the debate on this, either you can book an appointment with Hamza, or on the next council, you can come down and...
That's just ridiculous.
Ask a series of questions. I'm so sorry, in the AGM, we are just allowed one question, please. Tariq, is this your last question? Please. We are running short of time and we need to do the nominate.
I just wanted to ask a question. Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
The union has been described, the union environment has been described as hostile and unwelcoming this year. Why do you guys think that is? And how do you plan on changing that? Because I feel like part of our issue with engagement is that students don't feel like they can go and talk to sabbatical officers. They don't feel that they can occupy the space that is supposed to be for them.
First of all, I can recognize your what you're putting forward there. What we've done is we had reception staff who would sit behind a table which was behind the main desk. We recognize that that's a barrier for students, so we brought them forward. In terms of a hostile environment inside the staff space, I invite all of you to come down tomorrow. If you feel like it's hostile, you can talk to us about who you feel are the hostile people, or what makes you think that's hostile. I sit in there and I don't feel the hostility. We try to welcome students. You're all welcome. You're all part of the students to come and speak to staff and have your own opinions and stuff. But I don't understand where the hostility is coming from. It's the first time I've heard of it. I think any time you've heard of it. First time we're hearing of that as well. Yeah.
Speak on the mic, please.
There are like the separate spaces within the union, and the signs that are up saying, "Oh, students can't be here. It's for sabbatical officers, or it's for these people to have meetings in these spaces." But otherwise they aren't being used and people.
Okay, that's a new area that we moved out into that previously was student occupied area. Now, what's happened is that area has been put in there by funding for student voice. So the people who look after the student voice have designated how they want that area run, how they want people, students working around there, and it de facto as a working desk. Now, obviously, if the staff want priority on using those desks, then that's what they're going to ask for. But I do believe you have got a case there, and if you come in and speak to us, we can look at what's going on with that, and whoever's managing that space, we can get you in touch with them to ensure that you're not feeling like you're being pushed out of the students' union. That's the last thing we want. And I'm hearing that you get to use it after 5 o'clock anyway. Anyone can use it after 5. It's just that it's space that we've designated for research from you guys. So the last thing we want to hear is you guys feeling uncomfortable going in that space or being told that you're being left out and stuff.
On the signs that are all posted there, it does say like students can't.
Yeah. I've recently had some feedback as well from coming through the library as well, and we're currently arranging a meeting as well to rediscuss how that space is supposed to be utilised. I understand that, and there's a few students that have raised issues in that as well. We're conscious of those, and we're going to get that changed and sorted without doubt very soon.
You don't have the question? Hamza, quiet.
Come speak to me. Talking to the guy.
Yeah, I just want to elaborate on what the brother there said. That he was very hostile in student union. I, as a first year student, came into university, knew. Are you making any comments on that? A comment, yeah. No, sorry. Am I not allowed?
He said he was making a comment.
If you allow him to start making his comment and then be like, no, take it back the mic. Let the conversation be had.
He said that he had a question, Tariq.
And then he said yes.
You go and run it how you want to run it. That's fine. All right, that's fine. How you want to run it. Because people, if you have a discussion and you're not facilitating properly, you just keep shutting people down. It's not fair on people that want to have a conversation.
If you want to have a healthy discussion on that, pass a motion to have a debate on that particular thing and have it right now. But it's not that in question answer session you cannot fire back question or follow up question right after that, okay?
This is actually a question. Doesn't what has just happened expose the idea of this university being a hostel?
I just came and said if there are any question you can ask. Right, did I not say that you can ask a question right now? Do you have any question to the sub officers right now? I should pass them the mic. Just pass them the last time. Shut up.
Last question.
The question is.
One last question. Please frame all your doubts in this.
Okay, the question is, this is an AGM meeting which is meant to facilitate conversation, and the act of stopping a student from expressing a concern or a comment on a situation, doesn't that create the hostile environment that we're talking about?
Okay, I understand you more now.
Yeah. Okay, I agree with you there on that point. Like, I do believe students should all be given the opportunity to say their piece and have that piece heard. Again, but we have to respect the chair as well and his decision, even if you don't agree with it sometimes. And that's all I can say on that. I don't know what to say.
Sorry about all the confusion that happened in the AGM. I again say that if you have any further questions, come down to the office and speak to them personally, or in the next council, come prepared with your questions and ask them. And you can also pass a debating motion in the council. But in AGM, since we're already running short of time, we have to finish this up by 8, so I can't allow any more questions, and I'm sorry about that. Next, can we move to the next part of this AGM, which is the presentation of the candidates? And Kieran, I would like to ask you to put the names on the screen, please. So for sabbatical positions, Student Affairs Officer, Faiz Ilyas, can you please come up in the front?
Yeah, that's perfect. Here.
And for Education Officer candidate, Ismail Hussain Jafri, Amar Hamid and Sham Khan, can you please come in the front? So these are the candidates for Student Affairs Officer Faiz Ilyas and Education Officer Ismail Jafri, Amar Hamid and Sham Khan. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. The next set of officers is Sports and Wellbeing Officer candidates Hamza Ahmed and Jason Redman. Community and Activities Officer candidates Mamu Nagmo Bey, Kwane Ricketts and Umer Yassin. Your candidates for Sports and Wellbeing Officer and Communities and Activities Officer. Thank you, boys. Thank you for coming down. The non-sabbatical officers now. BME officer candidate Jibran Yasser and Itanola Ala Kija. Sorry if I'm pronouncing the names wrong. Environment and Ethic Officer candidates Mohammed Ismail Amin and Bianca Drollef. Everyone, your candidates for BME and Environment and Ethics Officer. Thank you, everyone. The Inclusion Officer candidate, Muhammad Umer Alam. International Students Officer, Stavros Giotis. Is he here? LGBT plus officer candidate Jacob Livingstone. Right. So 2 of them are not present here. Umair, the candidate for inclusion officer. Thank you. Women's officer candidate Maria Batul Hussain. Officer for students with disabilities Rafiq Sukar. Postgrad students officer nominations will reopen in October. Right, your candidates for women's officer and officer for students with disabilities. Thank you guys. The next set is the chair of council, Asha Hussain, Adam Sisid Muse, Preet Chokar. Right, Kieran's just told me that Preet has sent apologies because she had to attend another meeting, so she's not available. Now the council lay member candidates, Arsalan Hussain, Oon Ahmed, Amreen Idris, Adil Ahmed, Afzan Ali, Sultan Hussain, Mohammad Gul, Faraz Tariq, Zahra Rahman, Sarish Khan, Preet Chokar, Awais Ahmed. All your candidates for council lay members, everyone. Awais, do you want to come down, please? There are people representing all the team of council members. Thank you. Now, important dates. Thank you. Important dates. Candidates briefing on Monday, the 26th of February. Hustings on 5th, 6th and 7th of March. Votings 13th, 14th and 15th of March. Anything else? Please review your candidates before voting and get a new chair of council because I'm not running. I'm pretty sure all of you are already bored of my chairing. So vote nicely and be prepared for your hustings candidates. Thank you. In any other competent business, there is one announcement of Green Week which is already on the screen. So you might as well have a look.
Can I just say 2 words about this? So guys, please help me promote this event to everyone. So on Friday we have WWF. We have some freebies from them. On Tuesday we have Fair Trade Foundation. We have free bananas, free fair trade chocolate. Wednesday we plant trees around the campus with the States Department. And on Thursday we have plant your own flower and grow it at home. And then we have some other activities like cleanest kitchen competition and also second-hand clothing event and a second-hand bike sale. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Now we move to the NUS Women's Conference, and Maria, can you please come up in the front and get your settings arranged in the way you want.
So guys, pizza's on its way. So basically the way we're setting this is that can all the women move on to that side, please. And can all the men move on to this side, please? And the reason being is because in the NUS Women's Delegate elections, only women or those who self-define as women can vote. So we're trying to make this an intimate session where women can ask the candidates questions. So can all the men move on to this side and can all the women move on to that side, please?